everybody, welcome to or back to my channel, Mel KB Vlogs. So today I want to talk about actor burnout and kind of what that's like. So I've talked a bit about it on TikTok. Let's look at the definition of burnout. Okay. Burnout is a syndrome conceptualized as resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. It is characterized by feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion, increased mental distance from one's job, of cynicism related to one's job. So I feel like most actors living in New York City doing the grind of having a day job, auditioning, trying to manage your social life, all of that, I feel like everybody experiences burnout quite often, honestly. And I do feel like generally it comes at this time of the year, in the dead of winter, when New York is freezing and unbearable. It is in the crux of audition season, where before COVID you were getting in line and doing auditions like crazy, and now you're filming self-tapes all the time and dishing out money, and after a while it gets exhausting. So particularly for me, what got me to this point of really feeling burnt out is kind of an accumulation of the past 2 years plus of the pandemic. So rewind, I went into the pandemic really burnt out from auditions and all of that. The audition season in 2020, which some of you probably watched my vlogs from then, I'll link one here. That audition season was just really rough. I was going and lining up for things at 6 a.m. constantly. I was working, running to work afterwards, running back to the auditions, and I really wasn't getting in the room to audition. Like, I wasn't getting there early enough. 6 a.m. wasn't early enough, and it was just really hard. I was trying so hard. I was trying to take class. I was trying to keep up with everything, and I was barely being seen at any auditions. I made it to a few final callbacks for things that I found out literally like the day before everything shut down in March 2020, that I didn't book a handful of things. So I went into the pandemic feeling really low and down on myself about the business and just feeling tired from it. However, at that point I did finish up a contract that December. So I was still riding off of the feeling of like, okay, I just finished a contract, I just performed. So now 2 years have passed. That was kind of my last feelings of the industry before going into the pandemic. So the first year of the pandemic, everybody was kind of in the same boat. Nobody was performing. It was all crap. We were all figuring out our way. And I actually felt pretty happy during that year. I felt pretty good, mainly because everybody was in the same boat. You really didn't have much to compare yourself to. It gave me time to spread my wings, and I became a nutrition coach. I became a published author. I did a lot of things, and I was able to feel satisfied in that way. Still actively an artist at that point. But then the second year of the pandemic rolls around and theaters are opening and everything is happening again. But there aren't as many jobs as there were before, and now everything's changed. It's all filming self-tapes and submitting and everything like that, and actually getting an in-person audition is so rare, even more rare than it was before. You can't just go and line up anymore and try to be seen. Really, most in-person auditions are from an appointment from your agent or something, or a callback from a video submission that you did. So it's very rare and it's hard. So at this point in the pandemic, I've seen many friends book their first national tours and do regional theater jobs and do all of these things, and I've seen my friends be successful, but I've also seen my other friends be in my boat where we haven't booked anything yet and we're trying and it's just not happening yet. But for me specifically, this is all kind of piled up over the past 2 years, and it was last week, yeah. Last week, funnily enough, I was in callbacks for the 2 jobs. There are the 2 companies that I was in callbacks for in March 2020 that I ended up not getting. And this year I was in callbacks for them again. And I felt really, really great about what I did in both instances. And I found out once again that I did not book it. And of course I told myself leading up to that, like, oh, I didn't get it in March 2020 because I was meant to do all of these other things, but now's my time. Now is when I was meant to book one of these jobs, and neither of them panned out again. And I think that kind of led me into a spiral of just really, really feeling down on myself and rough and not very optimistic, honestly. So, yeah, last week was rough, and I'm in a much better place mentally now, and I'm going to kind of tell you how I got there and give you tips on how to manage these feelings and manage this, which is inevitable in this career of being an actor, so that hopefully can help you too when you hit this point. So yeah, last week was really rough. I was just feeling hopeless because I kept getting like dangled things in front of my face of like, ooh, you could get this job, you could get this job, and all of them were just like being torn away, and there was no light at the end of the tunnel. And there I was still, I'm taking 5 dance classes a week, a voice lesson every other week. I'm constantly looking up auditions and filming things and doing everything I possibly can, and it's still not panning out, and I'm seeing it pan out for a lot of other people. So the first thing I did when I felt all this was I made a TikTok explaining it and just kind of acknowledging how I was feeling and admitting I'm down in the dumps, I'm not feeling positive, I'm not feeling optimistic, and this is how I feel, and everything I feel is valid. And the response I got from that TikTok was so many other actors, so many people that, you know, I look at and I'm like, wow, they're so successful, were commenting and saying that they are going through the same feelings and feeling the same way, and just so many people. And that in itself made me feel so much better. So I would say my first tip is to talk about it with other people so you don't feel so alone. And no, you are not alone in this feeling at all. So many people are feeling it right now. So reach out, talk to people, get that community. I really found that on TikTok, and it made me feel a lot better. Like, I went from sobbing that morning to feeling just so validated and elated by the evening. So finding that community, validation, knowing you're not alone is my first tip. My second tip then is to try as hard as you can not to go into that hole of comparing yourself to other people. So kind of what I've done in that is I've now put my energy into rooting for people, which I do internally, but now, like, when I see people posting like that they have some important audition coming up on TikTok or something, like I will comment and tell them I hope it goes amazing. Or when somebody shares that they have good news, I comment and congratulate them. And I've been putting my energy more towards rooting for people and really cultivating that joy in myself and giving it to them as well. And that's made me feel a lot better. And then in turn, I don't let myself go down that rabbit hole of like stalking somebody on social media when I see that person booked the job over me, and stalking them and seeing like why they're better than me. I just don't allow it anymore. I don't look at it. I just tell myself stop. So that's my second tip. Another thing I've been doing, which I mention a lot, is I meditate every morning, and I think that's been helping a lot. I journaled a lot. I just journaled out all my feelings. I would say a huge tip number 3 is to feel those feelings and know that they are valid. Let yourself cry for like a day or two. Once you hit that breaking point of just exhaustion from all of this, let yourself cry call that person that you can talk to who will just let you vent and let it out. That's going to make you feel a lot better. And if you avoid that part, it's going to show up later. So just let yourself cry, feel those feelings. It's going to help. And then after that is when you can really pick yourself back up and be like, all right, how can we move forward from here? So another reason why I think I'm so burnt out, and this is something I'm still working on, I haven't managed this one yet, is I don't have an actual day off at all. I work 5 days a week, about 32 hours at my day job. I'm also a nutrition coach, so I do coachings in the mornings before work, and on my 2 days off from my day job, I take 2 dance classes and a voice lesson usually. So it's not at all a day off, and I think that's really getting to me because I see my family members having their days off where they can just walk around their neighborhood and relax and watch TV and do things for them, and I don't have that day at all. And I think after weeks and weeks and weeks of living like this, that's not good for your mental health. You need an actual day off. So right now I'm really trying to analyze my schedule, and I'm going to figure out a way to get a real day off. So that's next on my list. I think that's going to make me feel a lot better. So really just looking at your current situation and seeing like what's making you so exhausted and what you have control of fixing. That's huge, because a lot in this business we don't have control over, but we do have control over things like our schedule in a way. So look at that. That's next on my list. And then after that, I would say, oh, this is a big one, practicing law of affirmation, or practicing law of attraction affirmations. You just search that on YouTube, and there's a few videos. I'll link some in the description, but there are some videos that you can play that just repeat affirmations that will really, really lift your spirits. I listen to them when I'm getting ready for the morning, or I'll just like do it as a meditation. I'll play it and I'll just sit here and I'll reflect on these affirmations, and that already has really made me feel a lot better. It's made me feel like good things are coming. My optimism is coming back after doing that, after doing daily meditations and doing the affirmations. I feel like my optimism is just flowing back. I truly can say I know something good is coming. And last week and a bit before that, you wouldn't catch me saying that sentence. So I know something good is coming, and I think that attitude has come from listening to those affirmations and doing meditations. So that's very helpful. And then I would say, it's not linear. I know something is going to happen again, where another audition is going to happen, where I get cut or I don't get the job and I'm going to go back down again. But now I have the tools to really, all right, I'll feel that feeling for a little bit, and then here we go. Here are my tools to pick myself back up. So I feel like I'm going to handle it better. And I think also on a weekly basis, just taking care of myself so I'm not completely exhausted leading up to these upsetting events. Like maybe if I did have a day off every week where I can just be a human and like relax, maybe these rejections wouldn't feel as tough because I wouldn't be as like exhausted from life. So that's just a thought. But yeah, those are really my tips for getting past this, but also just know you're not alone at all. Like, it's crazy out there, and we are all doing our best, and I believe in every single one of you. And if you're not an actor and you're watching this to just know more about our life, I'm grateful for you, and I appreciate you supporting me from afar. It's so nice. It really, really makes my heart happy, so thank you. That's really it on this discussion. It's a big one. I'm trying to think if there's like any last minute things. Take care of yourself. Just take care of yourself in the best way you can. There are so many different things you can do to make yourself feel happier on a daily basis. And I think that's the goal, because this is all a journey. We all have this major goal we're working towards. Like, I want to be a working actor. I want to get jobs. But in that journey to getting those jobs, it's kind of pointless if you're miserable on that journey. So figuring out ways to be happy on this journey is going to get you so far. Even just taking time, like the other day I decided it was nice outside and I decided to walk to Steps on Broadway. So I walked through Central Park and it was just so nice, and I was very much on a high of like, wow, I live in New York City. I'm so grateful for all of this. So trying to find those moments every day, really cultivating that happiness in yourself on this journey is really going to help your overall attitude and optimism and positivity. So I think that's like my number one tip, honestly. And yeah, you've got this. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Make sure to like this video if it was helpful and share it to anybody who you think might need it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.